Today we'll talk about editing the test sites. The list of sites used in the test are shown on the Site tab of the template window. Open the dialog with the test settings and select the Sites tab. Here are the sites used for the test. You can add new sites to the list, delete the unnecessary sites, and change their position in the list. Let's add new site to the list. Click Add button. The new site is shown on the list. Here you can change the site name and specify the amplifier channel for this site, selecting it from the drop-down list. Any site has two inputs, minus and plus. So, for example, 32-channel amplifier has 64 inputs and several reference inputs. Usually, the software defines the inputs that correspond to the amplifier channels automatically. But you can sometimes change the inputs manually by simply selecting the desired input from the drop-down list. If you click Inputs button, the window showing the acquisition pots appear. Some inputs here already have names, which means that they are used in the test. Those inputs without names are free and can be used for connect new leads. The next setting is range. This is the maximum signal amplitude that will be recorded without distortion. If you notice any distortion, increase the input range. Recording of somatosensory evoked potentials, auditory evoked potentials, and other low amplitude signals usually requires narrower input range of about several millivolts, whereas recording of EMG and motor responses require a wider range. A signal amplitude may reach up to 100 millivolts. Now we proceed with filter settings. The first filter is high-pass filter, or HPF. This filter passes frequencies higher than the specified cutoff frequency and cuts frequencies that are lower than the set values. The higher is cutoff frequency, the more stable is the trace isoline, though low frequency components of responses can be lost. At the same time, a low-pass filter, or LPF, only passes frequencies lower the cutoff frequency. Decreasing this frequency will reduce noise of the recorded responses, but may cause distortion of the trace waveforms. The combination of these two filters determines the bandwidth for the acquisition channel. The sites with different modalities require different filter values. If the notch filter, or NF, checkbox is activated, then the notch filter of the power line filter is enabled. Tick the checkbox if you want to reduce the power line noise for recorded signal. Activating the sound checkbox will enable the sound for the recorded signal. The noise-like sound can be heard through the computer speakers, and its volume corresponds to the amplitude of the recording signal. In the next column, you can set the amplitude threshold for the site. This means that responses with the amplitude exceeding this threshold are considered artifacts and are disregarded during the recording, as well as not included, for example, during somatosensory and auditory evoked potentials averaging. In the last column, you can select the color of the site on the screen. Please note that default color is black. Here, the actual site color depends on the color scheme settings, but we shall talk about it next time. If the site is not used for the given test, it can be deleted from the list. Just select the desired site and click the delete button. To change the site position in the list, use the up and down buttons. After all settings to the list of sites are made, click OK button to close the tab or continue with other test settings. We shall as well discuss this next time.